Okay, so rule of thumb for any game. First 1 to 2 minutes, we gotta try to identify what their formation is, how many they're playing with up top. And until we do this and we know how to deal with it, our wide players, our outside mids, need to just mark up with their wide players. So it might be, if we are indeed playing against a 4-3-3, you might be sitting in a little bit more than you normally would, just until we're sure, so that we're staying, so that we're making sure we're not letting ourselves be exposed. So you might find yourself a little bit further back. You might be tracking them back into this space a little bit. But that is not to say we would ever just have both of our outside mids sitting back, like a 5 back. You kind of just have to feel it out, and both teams will adjust. Because if it is a team where their outside forwards stay really high, and it's a 4-3-3, if we mark them up, when we win the ball, obviously our outside mids are going to get up the field, and there's going to be tons of space for us here and here when they only have 1, 2, 3 midfielders, and we would control the middle of the field, and then they would have to adjust, obviously, and then maybe their forwards start to stay back a little bit more. But that's just a game by game basis. Basically, I'm saying we just have to be cautious at the beginning of making sure we're marking everybody up, and then we adjust from there. So let me just show you. I'm going to put their forwards moderately high and wide, and let's say they're on the ball. Okay, it's gonna end up looking a lot like the 4-4-2, where they're gonna they're gonna step to the ball, we're gonna shift, this player is gonna end up marking this player, and obviously they're gonna have to get back and they're gonna do whatever. So let me just make these moves really quick, so we can start to wrap up. Alright, so this is what it looks like. I didn't move anyone in the middle here, just because we saw that on the last one. They got back. That's your weak side, outside back, or center back. There's your center back. It's the same as the last one. So I just want to talk a little bit about what we expect out of our outside mids when we're playing against the 4-3-3, because that's going to be probably your most challenging formation, which I am sorry about. It will be a lot of running, but you guys that play out there are pretty fit, so I'm not too worried about it. Alright, let me just make these moves really quick. Alright, so I just kind of put it back. So we are in our kind of starting formation, and they're kind of in their starting formation. So as you guys can see, their outside forwards are in a lot of space right now. Okay, so how far back do I expect you guys to go? So I don't know why I made this line. Basically, I want you to treat, so obviously it depends on how far they come back and how far they go up, and how far and where they kind of spend most of their time. But you treat marking these outside wide players just as you would marking a traditional outside mid, until about, that's the wrong spot, 10 to 15 yards from the top of the box. So that's about somewhere halfway back through our half. at that point, all I can really tell you on this um, diagram is it depends. It depends on where the ball is. It depends on who your um, outside center back is and what they're comfortable marking, what's going on in front of the center back, and really that's just communication. So I'm fine. So in this scenario where the ball is here and we're either playing over the top or through the middle and maybe switching the field over here eventually, right? I am fine with if all these people are shifted over, and we've done a pretty good job. This player balancing in somewhere right here. I'm just gonna move them really quick, right? I'm fine with you not being goal side, just in this scenario because you're close. You're probably within 5 to 10 yards of them, and if everybody is focused over here, right? The chance of that ball, first of all, getting switched is not super high. And even if it does get switched, we have time to either recover or for this player to come out, right? And we can manage it that way. Just because I don't want you guys to have to run back to this space every single time, because that's a lot of running. You run, and then we get on the ball and we try to attack, and your legs are dead. But I would say, especially while we're still kind of feeling this formation out, just play it safe. Play it safe, but I do really want you guys to be able to figure out and talk to your defenders. I mean, that's how you guys are gonna nail it the best, is if you just continue to talk to each other about different situations during games, at practice, whatever, so that you guys aren't running the entire length of the field on every single transition play, because ultimately you guys are important parts of the attack as well. Yeah. So I know it's really not, it's pretty vague and not super helpful, but all I can tell you is the way we get better at it is by playing in scrimmages and games, facing those scenarios, making mistakes, asking questions, talking about it, and fixing it, because it varies. So that's about it. I don't want to make this too much longer. My original plan was trying to make it under 15 minutes, but obviously that's not the case. I hope this is helpful to you guys, and like I said, please really try to engage with this, and think about it, and we can talk about it, or you can, like I said, you can message me questions about it, or we'll talk about it the next time I see you guys. But I think this is kind of a good starting point. Obviously, there are millions and millions of scenarios, and this doesn't cover most of that. But if you guys can kind of master these concepts, you'll be able to apply that in the game. So yeah, that's about it.